What up, everybody? I'm mad because I'm missing out on having an intro for music for y'all, but nonetheless, we here, we back, new week, HHDG Media, the podcast. This is your boy, the mayor, that DJ named Ace5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, opening up the show for you. We got the homie Wiki Ian, who set this magnificent broadcast up for you today. He's coming through in a few minutes, but nonetheless, that ain't gonna stop me from introducing our special guests, Jay Swiftz and J.R. Swiftz, Junior Swiftz. How is it, Junior Swiftz or J.R. Swiftz? J.R. Okay, because Junior Swift sounds like a little Mighty Midgets football team, so I ain't gonna do that.
Nice, Jr.
All right, but introduce yourselves.
Yeah, J.R. Swift, you know what I mean? Griselda representative. Yo, listen, one of the greatest up and coming, man. That's it.
Shit. And the man who produced one of the greatest up and coming.
Yes, Jay Swift, you know, the producer, as everybody call me now. But actually, it's DJ Jay Swift originally.
Okay.
But yeah, now Jay Swift, the producer.
Well, I mean, you're literally the producer looking at your son down here on the screen.
Yeah.
And they brought along a special guest, somebody that unknowingly taps into my bloodlines right there.
That's crazy right there, dude.
We got the legendary Dr. Butcher on with us too. What's good?
What's good, family? Thank you guys for having me. Swift, thank you for inviting me, man. That's
You family, man. You family. I had to do it.
No doubt. I love this. Awesome.
Yo, definitely, y'all. Well, first and foremost, this is the first week that you're going to see HHDG Media, the podcast, on our YouTube channel and also on Periscope, which Periscope is no longer. That is now solely on Twitter. Tomorrow, too, check us out, the Star 5 podcast. We're going to be broadcasting on the same feeds also. YouTube through HHDG Media and on the Twitter through the HHDG Media Twitter. Because I usually say fuck Twitter when it comes to the Starting Five because I kind of hate it, man. But it is what it is, man. But let's just jump right into it because normally we start this off with the who you are, how you guys came to music, and I will start with the eldest, Swiftz, Jay. What as you mentioned, DJ Jay Swift. So I guess that's how you started and everything.
Correct. I started as a battle DJ. As you mentioned, I was brought up under the greats, my man Butcher, Steve D, DJ Plastic Man.
Hold on a second, because somebody got the speakers playing loud, so there's like an echo coming through.
I got you. That's me.
Probably. Okay. Yeah, that's better now.
Yeah. So I started off as a DJ first. I was a battle DJ. I was representing my borough, which was Brooklyn, East New York. Nobody around there was fucking with me on the turntables. As I got you know, greater at what I was doing, I was running into people like Plastic Man, Scratch, Butcher, my man Butcher, the Executioners as later on down the line, Rob, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I originally started off. I started off as a battle DJ.
Nice. And as fellow DJs here, I wanted to inspire to be like y'all in some sort of respects. A lot of the Executioners, I was big on Invisible Scratch Pickles and you know, I literally yesterday I was just watching when A-Track won the Worlds at the age of 15.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when I was doing this, Execution wasn't even thought about. It was actually I was running with the great Steve D. When he was doing actually the year that Steve D won his new music seminar, I was running with Steve D at the time. So the Executioner wasn't even developed. Everybody was just cool. Like I didn't even know Butcher was actually an Executioner until later on. I said, yo, snap. So yeah, it's a lot of history, man.
For real.
And that's because it was the X-Men prior to the Executioners.
Right.
When they signed to Sony, it was copyright infringement issues, so they had to call it Executioners. So
right. I was familiar with the Superman, with Clark Kent and them. I was familiar with that because that's who Plastic Man was originally down with. Plastic Man was Superman.
Right. Yep.
Yep. So that's how I started.
Yeah, definitely. And what's a perfect segue to you off of the whole battle scene? Like, what got you into becoming the battle DJ / scratch DJ turntablist? The real phrase that I should be calling you, turntablist.
I mean, I've been around it from the onset of hip hop. So, and I was fortunate to be around a lot of crazy DJs, Disco Twins. I mean, there's cafes in my neighborhood. AC, Vinny V, Cut Creator, the original Cut Creator, not the guy that everybody knew to DLL's Cut Creator. There's a real Cut Creator who got busy, and that's why I came up under these guys. And but I was rapping at the time, and after like high school, I went to college. I just kind of left the mic stuff and picked up my turntables and just kind of went nuts, because that's my true passion. I've always loved getting busy on the tables and stuff. And then shortly thereafter, Juju from the Beatnuts introduced me to Rob Swift, and Kim introduced me to Steve D. And we just kind of met. We all met at the Apollo when I was performing with G-Rap and Ice Cube and all them. And they were all outside, and everybody just kind of came together at that point. And I brought Rob through, and we just decided to perform next year. You know, it was kind of a clash against the Superman, but not really, because I was actually always cool with Clark Kent. So, you know, it was just for a facade, actually. It wasn't really a true deal. Right. You know, so, because I told you
I was familiar with that era, because when I started DJing in '96, one of the things my boys used to do was we ran to get all the tapes from all the DMCs to even those clashes, the Superman versus the X-Men and all that. Like, we've seen it all. So I mean, I know from just a competitive standpoint, it wasn't a true beef, but it was just turntable beef. And I mean, how legendary was that Rob Swift and what's the name battle?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, because Rob had lost a couple of battles in it. But I mean, sometimes, you know, you sharpen your eye and you get tougher. You know, and when he lost, he was ready to just kind of leave everything alone. I was like, nah, man, what do you mean? Like, we're gonna go back to the drawing board and just come back. You know, you left. It's like going into a fight and, you know, you kind of underestimated your opponent. I was like, yo, you got to come back, train harder, train better, and, you know, come up with some new routines and go back at it. And we did. And he walked on stage with that Biz routine, and that pretty much shut everything down from there. You know, so it's crazy stuff.
True D. Well, we're going to get back into some of that a little bit more since you're here, since I know I'm talking with two other turntablists. Like, we got to dive a little bit more into that when in a minute, because we got to get to the son, JR. I mean, was your daddy the main influence? Not to say it like that, but was your father the main influence in what got you into music yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he played a major part into why I'm here today. You know what I'm saying? Like, being in studios, where at times I was supposed to be in the bed getting ready for school the next day, I would be in the studio linking up. Well, not me linking up, but seeing like Busta Rhymes, seeing like AZ, Coogee Rap. Like, those are the times I was supposed to be in the bed getting ready for school. But right now, it's like I'm basically creating a legacy in a story early on, and before I even had a career to where we at now. But yeah, absolutely. Like, here's the reason why I'm doing this. This is the reason why I'm carrying the name. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely.
Fire. So now I have to ask this question, because this is in some respects, one of my like pet peeves when you talk to people in music, because everybody nowadays calls beat makers producers. Are you the Swifts? Are y'all more beat makers, or you guys encompass everything and are more producers?
Both. I'm both. I'm pretty sure with him. Playing both sides. Like, I was in a group, still am in a group. It's just now the member is no longer an MC. But yeah, like, I helped produce the album that we had that came out 2014. It's a group that we created called Ill Science. I was produced that, of course, the records, help him with concepts, stuff like that. Even more so to now, I got a little homie that's out here in Charlotte. and Kyrie producing him with records. So yeah, and then I would play the beat maker side where I just create some joints and I just send the beats. I mean, so I had the pleasure of being on both sides. So yeah.
Jay Senior.
Me, I'm an entrepreneur, man. I tap and dabble to everything, man. You know, I do a little bit of DJ, I do a little bit of producing, I do a little bit of managerial, I do a little bit of overseeing. I mean, I carry a lot of titles, but you know, I'm passionate with it. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't nothing for me to just gravitate to where I like, you know, what the stuff that I know. You know, it was brothers like Butcher, you know what I'm saying, amongst other friends that we have that was kind of inspiring me because, you know, we kind of like an age, but he's just probably a couple of years older than me, maybe 1 or 2. But, you know, his demeanor was that gave me that drive. Like, when I first met him, you know what I'm saying, I was like, yo, this dude is a real good dude. So, and then later on in life, I wound up finding out so much more about him. I'm like, yo, this dude is behind a lot of stuff, and not, you know, that's how I want to be. He's not a talker. We actually the same type of sign, and he's not a talker, so he's like me. I'm like, yo, this dude just like me. So that's why I bond, you know, with Butcher. It was great. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of we got a lot of history. So when it came down to my son, it was natural. Like I would work with my cousin A1. And my son, I'll tell you the quick story right quick. My son, I had set him up a little computer in his little room. And, you know, this at the time, this is when, you know, Fruity Loops was Fruity Loops. It was an FL Studio. And
I'm familiar. I remember downloading and looking for the serial code. So I remember.
So what's crazy is that, you know, I would pay all my attention to my cousin because, you know, at the time I felt like, you know, we had this chemistry together, and I felt like I believed in my cousin just as well as he believed in me. So I never want to say I dismissed my son, but I didn't think my son was interested into doing music. So I had bought him a little computer we had do little graphics and stuff like that. But for some reason, he had like FL Studio, he had Reason and all this, and I would be in a room with my cousin, and then I would hear stuff that he's doing. But you know, as a father, he just learning. He just, you know, doing what it right now. Because I used to always try to get him on the MP and stuff, and he'd be like, "Man, I don't want to use that. I want to use, you know, I want to use my computer." So I didn't really never take him serious. So as time went on, fast forward a couple of years, you know, somebody had told me, this is a true story. Somebody told me like, "Yo, you heard that beat? Your son did." I'm like, my son? This is actually, when I say all that stuff with A1 is older, but now this is what happened recently. When I say recently, it's more up to date. Somebody hit me and said, "Yo, you heard the shit your son did on Instagram?" I'm like, nah, because I never knew he changed. I never knew he was calling himself J.R. Swift. So when I heard, I'm like, who the fuck is J.R. Swift? Then I get on Instagram and it's this dude. I'm like, oh shit, this is my damn son. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how secretive he was. He wasn't never telling me anything. So I'm like, when people was telling me, I'm like, who the fuck is J.R. Swift? Because he never like I would speak to my son, but he would never tell me he was doing music or anything. So it was a shocker to me. So I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So then my other son Cam, you know, he started wanting to get into music and all that stuff too. But he wound up doing something totally different. Now he's a professional photographer. I guess he found his passion, which is photography, but JR always stuck with it. And I had JR around more because Cameron at the time, he lived in Virginia and I was still living in New York, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really take him to do the things that I was doing with JR. So JR kind of picked up. I mean, I had him around a lot of people. Like he said, he's supposed to have been at home to school, going to school the next day, but I would have him in the studio. I had him around everybody. I was my little road dog, so it was natural for him to do it. So
that's dope. I mean, you didn't, and so within that, like you didn't even realize that you was fostering and nurturing his career, and as a son, yo, like I kind of get it, JR. Like I get it. Is you don't come out and tell dad and mom and all that what you doing right away. It's like, you know what, at the right time y'all gonna find out, and I'm gonna show you.
Absolutely. I mean, it was because you figure I started making. I'll be 30 this year, so I started making beats 12, 13, maybe 14, somewhere around there. And like I said, I had FL, started on FL, and then as I got older, it went from FL to Reason, and then Reason it went to Ableton. So I'm in the cut, just doing what I do, and a lot of people don't notice I was MCing at first.
Yeah, he was.
So I was MCing at first, but I'm like, yo, my voice kind of high. They ain't gonna take me serious. Let me go ahead and just do the production thing. So even at that time, I had a group with my cousins and a homie that used to live on the block, and producing they joints. But my beats sound like the polyphonic ringtones that
right.
that's how joint used to sound. But I stuck to it because I love music. And my cousin to this day that was in the group with me be like, yo, bro, you know, it's so crazy how we thought, and I'm a big G-Unit fan. So it just so happened that he was like, yo, bro, at that time we thought we was the next G-Unit, you know what I mean? To the point now, like you grinding and working, like you stuck to it. So yeah, like that's something that, you know, I'm not gonna be like, yo, bro, like, oh, mom, dad, like I'm out here doing music or whatever. Because, you know, doing music kind of cliche to some people. But I know my father did it. So it wasn't cliche, but yeah, like I just stayed in the trenches and kept grinding to where I'm at now. So yeah.
Which is dope, man. And Big J, how does that feel? I mean, as a father, to see that again, it's all that hard work, all them long nights of keeping them out in the studio and things like that now paying off. Because like I could kind of say as a father myself, I'm a father of 3 daughters, and I was a former shot putter in high school. I just started my 13-year-old throwing shot put, and she's out there kicking ass more than I ever had. So to see your son now out there kicking ass in the streets musically and stuff, like, what does that bring to you?
Yo, that brings a lot, man. That brings, you know, that I embedded the great things in him, and then me being a proud father, man. And the most important thing is me passing the torch to him. Now I'm saying, like now, he's more active than me because now I became a person now to just work with artists that I actually like. You know what I'm saying? So I have two artists that I'm working on. Whereas I make beats for them. I don't make beats to actually sell. You know what I'm saying? I got out of that. Now it's that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more business oriented with it now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like this. Yo, listen, if I hear some talent, I'm gonna work with them. I'm not making beats to try to give to other people because the game is saturated. You know what I'm saying? That as we was coming up, Butcher could attest to this. Like, you know, you had to have some heat. Like dude wasn't just gonna mess with your joints. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy now for the young generation. You know, they got the YouTubes, they got all these different platforms where they can get and dig. You know what I'm saying? E-dig, what they call it, but we have to actually go out and buy records. I still got my own collection. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
right inside. I'm with you.
You always have to spend massive amount of money to buy a drum machine, so it's easier now. So I say, you know what? I'd rather work with artists, independent artists, than try to make a whole bunch of beats to try to shop because I already know how that is. I did that already, you know what I'm saying? So I bypass that now. So I'm in a different mind frame when it comes to production to work with other people. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get you. And shout outs to the baby butchers in the background. I saw that one of the little popped up and was like hiding behind
man, you have no idea.
Oh no, I got an idea. Like I said, I'm a father.
I used to be though.
I'm a father of 3 girls, man, and my youngest 2 are 9 and 8. I always gotta think about it because they're Irish twins. They're back to back, but I be forgetting because niggas are getting old out here and shit. But let's bring them in. My man Wiki Ian, what's going on, good brother?
Peace, y'all. Apologize for the lateness.
What's up, fam?
Right.
Y'all hear me?
The hardest working man in all of any kind of business. For real, man. And big up, happy birthday once again to your kids because he's another father here, Ian and Aiden.
Thank
happy
you,
birthday to them.
Happy birthday, dude.
As always, tell the kids I love them, you know. uncle, cousin, brother Dan, you know. But Dr. Butcher, man, as Jay keeps coming back to you as in the roots and the beginnings, man. Like, what was and I got to go a little tech and equipment because I want to get back to y'all too about equipment, but y'all kind of briefly spoke on what was the tables you used before 1200s were the standard.
For me, yeah, Butcher, you go first.
Yeah, that was for Butcher. That was for Butcher first.
You said turntable?
Yeah.
Anything that will play a record. Dude, there was no limits for me, dude. I've been on from Bigs to Gerard's, Techniques to B10s, 1200s, everything, dude. Like, I was such a fiend for it. I mean, Cut Creator, you know the old stereos that had the TVs built in? This dude had side by side, scratch and turning the knobs up and down, dude. I mean, dudes were just fiends for it, dude. So whatever we could use that make noise, we did it. I would have a mixer with no turntables, and I would just sit there turning the mixer on and off, you know, get the music by that, dude. So, you know, the passion was there. You know, when you like that, you see things. I mean, you know, you just want to do it, man. It runs deep, and you just don't let it go.
No, for real. I mean, when my first set of turntables was Gemini XL 500s, belt drive joints.
Oh man,
belt drive was terrible.
Word
but
up.
I mean, and so y'all know how fucking frustrating it was. That is like when you tried to get the scratching, and the one little technique that you had to get with the belt drives was you had to push it along just a little bit. You had to push it along.
You know, I talked to a lot of dudes, but not unknowingly, you know, you look at today's climate of DJs and using Serato and everybody's in relative mode. I can look at cats and determine what type of DJ they are because they didn't come up on turntables, the way they hold the records and their movements. I'm like, people are amazed by you, but you actually suck. If I take Serato away, I bet you can't do it.
Exactly.
It's hard for me to give credit to it, and it's not hating, but it's just hard to give credit there when I know the guys that got the stripes, like you said, who came up on that type of stuff. So you develop, you know, knowing how to hold the records, the lightness in your hand, and how to be quick. It was a natural thing, you know, whereas now people can just, you know, my little boys can DJ as good as anybody if I put them in Serato, you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, dude. It's real interesting.
But to give respect, do it. I'm gonna get to you, Jay, so you could go on the equipment thing too. But to give dude though to the new technology, it's simplified everything for us.
I agree.
And again, y'all are older than us, but I remember it wasn't a part of why I hated doing parties, to be honest with you. There's another story behind that, but I was of carrying fucking. I literally was just in my room a few minutes ago. I mean, well, before we started the show, and I'm reading the side of the milk crate. Like, damn, remember when allegedly having these crates was illegal? But we used them for record shit, like you know what I'm saying. But I'm from that era, so I totally get what you mean. But that's why I think, and Jay, I'm gonna throw it to you now with the equipment and stuff. But that's why I think DJs, you should start off with a crate carrying class first.
Right.
Carry crates first, then go to Serato. And that's I mean like a training session, like take it to like an abandoned building, hit 3 to 5 flights of stairs.
I talk to dudes, like I make it so simple, and I just tell them, hey, go to the basics, pull out those break beats and learn rhythm. Learn a lot of things that you're just not getting if you're in relative mode in Serato, because it's like shadow boxing. You know, you can shadow box to death, but you get in that ring and the shadow is boxing back at you, it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? You get popped back, the shadow, you know, it's different. So like, you got to do that. You have to, you know, some turntables, if you really want to take it there, if you just want to play records and parties, knock yourself out with the controllers all day. But if you want to call yourself a tableist, that's a different title. You got to go back to the roots and build that stamina. You got to have that technique down. It ain't just about saying, pretending you can do tricks when you really can't do the tricks, you know, or jump on the scratch.
I give you that though, but I want to give props to the homie Rob Swift, who I mentioned y'all when we was pre-show. We actually hosted Swift and Sin out here on Staten Island in 2018, Ian. in December 2018. We actually had hosted them on Staten Island. They did a fucking phenomenal performance out here. Their first time out here doing the show. Plus that night I gave but I wanted to, actually my bad. I wanted to give Rob Swift props because he actually does a lot of teaching, as we see on his YouTubes and Facebook and stuff like that. Right. And it is cats that are starting with like the 12s from Rain and some turntables. He does put out sample video of what he does. And these cats are getting it, but they're learning the real essence, but digitally. So the respect can be taught through the digital still. But I'm with y'all in some sort of respect on that the old head get off my lawn type, but start from the beginning. Our era was the best type of shit. And that's how you really learn. So I feel you on that.
Yeah.
But Swift, as you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was getting ready to throw it to you, but you went right in.
What I was saying is I came up to some cats around my way. My man Vinny V, God bless his soul, that was my mentor. I remember we used to have a little park around the corner, schoolyard, and I used to remember just seeing this guy. I'm like, yo, what is he doing with these turntables? Because he had nickels and shit on top of the head of the turntable, the needle. I'm like, yo, and he going back and forth, rock the bells, or you know what I'm saying? What they was rocking back then? I Can't Stop was the joint. You know what I'm saying? We doing Park Jam. So I was fascinated with that. So then again later on, and back then he was using the belt drives joints. He was using a belt drives joint, and then later on, I forgot the turntable that he was using. Them joints looked like the 1200s, but they wasn't. They was belt drive. And he took me under the wing, and that's how I kind of started learning. And he was doing needle drop, and I'm like, yo, what the hell is all this? So I was so fascinated with it that I really went hard with it. My mom's actually bought me a set of 1200. That was like the best thing I ever achieved. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my day, and that's how I got better. So back then, I was familiar with the DMCs and New Music Scimitar, but I wasn't familiar with the stuff that these cats was doing. So when I was introduced to Plastic Man from one of my great other friends, my man Powerful up in Heritage House in Brownsville, that's actually where I started learning how to produce and also being taught DJ stuff. Because I was cool, but when I ran into Plastic Man, I was like, yo, this dude was on some other shit. Like, what the hell he doing? Turning behind his back and all that. So he would just started showing me stuff, and I was just getting better to where, like I said, I held a title to where nobody in my neighborhood could mess around with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I started. But music is in my blood, man. Like it's so much stuff that I could sit here and talk about the history, but I've been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like I said, when it came to my son, it was easy for him. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely easy for him.
Dope. And now back to the son. What was it that got you to not go to using equipment like the MPCs and stuff like that?
You said why it wasn't at that time? At that time it was too advanced. Too many knobs and buttons for me to use. So at the time I wanted things simplified. But as I got older and I seen, like I was always intrigued, but I felt like at the time it was too advanced. But when Akai dropped the Renaissance, what year was that? 2013?
The Renaissance was the iPad one, right?
No, the Renaissance was actually the MPC.
Yeah, the next.
Yeah, I remember the MPC, but I also remember when it came out with the app and that they brought a device that you connected the iPad into. Yeah, I thought that I got it wrong.
The Renaissance was actually the first digital joint that you could use with the computer.
Mm-hmm. The joint you talking about is the Element. The Renaissance, I think it dropped like around, I'm gonna give it 2012, 13, somewhere around there. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's the one. Like, I need that. So once it was released, I was like, okay, kind of want to get my hands on it. And I think a year or two later, that's when I ended up purchasing the Renaissance, and I ended up using that. So I was intrigued by the MPC, but using a 2000, it was like, nah, this is out of my lane. But the Renaissance I started on, and then I sold that to my pops, gave my pops the Renaissance, and then purchased the machine too. Hated the machine. Sold that, and then my pops ended up giving me the MPC Studio, the little joint. Got rid of that, and then I bought to what I use now, which is the MPC Live, and I love it. I'm saying, so I've always been an MPC head. It's just I needed to wait my time to use, I guess, with computers, I guess. But yeah.
No, I feel you, and they would. I mean, you kind of had your own evolution in music and equipment and stuff, because almost the story. I didn't hate it, but I started when I decided to try to make beats. I started with Fruity Loops. I started with all the crack versions of Fruity Loops and stuff. And then, but something said, yo, I wanted my MPC. I went to my man's studio to try to have me show a few different buttons, things like that, here and there, how to kind of work the basics. Then I caught it on a steal on eBay for $50, the MPC 2000. Not even the XL yet. I sat with it for like but I sat for a couple weeks, and I was just like, this feels more difficult. And then I went back to the Fruity Loops, and then flipped that MPC for $500. So, but I feel you on the. It's just you got to go in stages and getting used to different pieces of equipment, and like you say, you had your same growth like your father did with the turntables, like Dr. Butcher did with the turntables. It's just one of them things that I think we all go through in cycles, just trying to evolve in this creative world that we live in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I messed around with Fruity Loops before, but I didn't even try and do anything hip hop. I tried to do house music and techno.
Yo, FL came a long way, man. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely came a long way. I never was really one of them computer type of dudes that make beats. I always had equipment. Like I always had the 2000 ASR10, which I still own. I still know. So, and then I just add on to the stuff. And the only reason why I have his old Renaissance is because I wasn't believing like, yo, if you buy equipment for $1,500, don't sell it for $600. You're gonna sell it for that. And I'm gonna hold on to that. We just gonna keep building the legacy like that. So that's exactly what I did. Because if anything, God willing happened to me, my stuff go to him. You know what I'm saying? So amongst my other children, but that's how I look at it. I'm always thinking about business. Like, yo, why sell it to somebody? You paid $1,200 for it. Why get $500 for it? Just give it to me. I give you the $500, and I'm gonna hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I set up. My children to be like that. Like anything that I buy, because I have massive equipment, you know what I'm saying? From records for machine. I have 2 machines, the MK2, the MK3. I have 3 MPs, his Renaissance, the MPC Live, the MPC 2000, and I still have my ASR 10 and my TR rack, and amongst other things. I'm not getting rid of none of my stuff.
No, right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when it's gonna go to someone who's actually gonna make use of it.
Right. And then the crazy thing is now everybody want to buy all the old vintage stuff. I'm like, I paid $2,700 for my 2000, and that's just the first one. That's not even the XL. 27. I still got the receipt for that. So why sell it for now? People be selling it for $20. Nah, I'm gonna hold on to this, man. Yeah. Because now it's coming back.
Yeah.
So which and each of y'all, which is your favorite piece of equipment to use? Out of all the years, what has been the one? What has been like the go-to that is like the tried and true, trusted, tested?
I mean, I'm in software now. I love software, but I guess coming up on hardware, I would say it was the EMU Platinum. They had these rack mount samplers, and I was hardcore with that. Like, I mean, because it was a synthesizer, a sampler, sound design tool. I could do anything with it. And I mean, I just lived in that thing. That with MPC XL, the 2000 XL. I felt like that was my rhythm. Like you said, you try things, everybody's using the 950s and SP and all this stuff, but then you find yourself sounding like them. And then you break away. My partner CJ had introduced me to the emulator line. And when they came out with the Platinum, I had the prior ones, but the Platinum was just next level. like the Akai 3000s and all that stuff. And I mean, I lived with that for a minute. It took me a minute to get into software. I was fighting it, but after a while, I realized technology had caught up to the software, and it was okay to go into it. And Jay helped me a lot with that. Like I would talk to him about everything. Him and John Doe kind of walked me through it, and it made it really easy. I knew what to buy, what software to start with, and then I didn't look back anymore. But I was apprehensive for a long time. I did not want to walk away from hardware at all.
Before y'all go, I feel you on the apprehensiveness and watching technology catch up, because if y'all remember, because I remember this clearly, when the whole digital DJ shit started, it started with Stanton and the Final Scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, Final Scratch, yeah.
And I don't know nobody that had it because it was too expensive. They said the lag was too crazy, but we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
we all got to start somewhere.
And the technology catches up. The computers couldn't keep up with the software. The softwares were too CPU intensive. There was a lot of things going on. Like I saw Tyrion when they first dropped, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like I was like, oh man. But I knew it was like, the computers couldn't really handle the software that well. So I just sat back for a while. But when everything caught up and cats were showing me what they was able to do, I was like, oh, it's time to kind of migrate. Like I said, Swift, they played a big part in that, man. This dude had everything. So I could call, what about this? He was like, I got that, son. I got it. So, really opened my eyes. And, it was crazy. But all in all, that's a good thing.
I'm like that with all my brothers, man. My man Amar, I'm like that with him. Saying CJ, Butcher. I'm like that with all my friends. Because what it is that I always, one thing about me is that I'm an analyzer. Like if I feel like something's going to work or it's worth investing into, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I read up on it. I might demo something and vice versa. Like right now to this day, me, Butcher, if a sale come on, I'm right now. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with my man Amar in New York. You know what I'm saying? He a keyboard dude, but I introduced him to computers and logic and all that stuff. So I mean, I'm just a gifted type of person when it comes to certain things, you know what I'm saying? So, and I like to share information, whether it's, conscious information, whether it's information to learn, to better yourself, all that, I'm with all that. So that's one thing about me. I don't try to limit myself to anything. I always like to open my horizon to different things. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. But now the favorite piece that you use, and then your son goes next. But yeah, what is the number one to you guys?
It changes, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it changes.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
So for some reason, sometimes it could go between, honestly, the MPC Live and Logic. So if I'm doing drill, trap, or if I'm playing stuff, that's Logic. If I want to do boom back sample and all that, I go to the MPC Live. But I don't even use the hardware. I got the hardware sitting on the floor. I just use the software.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. JR, your favorite?
Man, I'm gonna go with Ableton, man. Shout out to Ski Beats. If it was for he had a video, I think he did a collaboration with Ableton. I want to say it was 7. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be using Ableton today. So Ableton is not really my go-to as it used to be. But between Ableton and the MC Live, so I'm gonna go with the Live for right now. MC Live.
Cool.
There's so much you could do with it. Like from when they dropped the Renaissance, it was just like, you don't have to use a computer. You still need it to plug it up. But with this, like, you could perform with it. Like, it's like somebody called me, like, bro, yo, like, we need you out here, for a show or whatever. I could take this with me and go perform. You know what I'm saying? And it has a battery in it, so I don't have to plug it up to anything. Like, I could do my thing and not have to worry about plugging it up to a computer versus like a Live or the first studio or the Studio 2, the black one. You need a computer. It's just way more flexible for my workflow. So, yeah, man, the MPC Live is crazy. Live 2 is even crazy because you got a speaker, but Either or, the live too. I mean, same thing.
Nice. Now,
Crazy
speaking
thing. I'm saying, well, one thing before
yeah. Go ahead.
ask him how he got. Ask him who introduced him to the NPC live.
Well, you asked the question. Go right ahead and elaborate.
Yeah. So yeah. So for the longest time, I had the silver studio that my father gave me. Like I'm one of the type of dudes. Like limitation bring the best out of me. Like I don't like upgrading unless I feel like I have to. So he's like, yo, I think you need to,
Invest.
I think you need to invest. I'm like, son, like I'm killing the game with what I have now. Where I need to invest in more equipment, but you do need to invest in your equipment because monitors sound different. Of course, the more you pay, the sound quality is different. As far as like drum machines, it varies, and they all do the same thing. But with this, like that's a big jump from the NPC studio to the live because, like I said, you don't need a computer. But yeah, he definitely was like, "Yo, go ahead and get that." So I bought it, and man, listen, I fell in love with it. Fell in love with the joint, man. Like I said, I thought about getting the live too, but it does the same thing. So I'm not gonna waste no money just to get the part two, just to have a speaker. It ain't make sense.
And the only reason
Nice.
why I said that is because what Butcher was saying, like I'm always introducing everybody to software because it's the same thing with my man Static. Static got an NPC live because of me, you know, because I'm always telling the brothers, man, like yo, this joint is dope. Like I'm a vouch for something that I invest my money into, and I ain't paying no chump change for that either. So if I could invest my money into it, I'm a vouch for it. Like yo, bro, get that. You should get that. I'm telling you, do this. So my man Static got a live too. So I'm always
Nice. So now it's time for my man Wiki to vouch for himself for a minute, and I'm gonna let him have the floor with y'all.
No doubt. Can't hear you, bro.
You're on mute. There you go.
Okay, cool. Tell us about Dr. Bush and Jay Swift. Tell us about coming up with Coogee Rap.
You go first, Drew.
Okay. Yeah, So I met G-Rap through a mutual friend that we went to like grade school together. We just saw tight. And I was running in high school. I met LL Cool J, so I was bringing him to the neighborhood. And he was like, yo, I got this other kid out here, Drew, you need to meet. My man Abdul. He's pretty nice, man. And he brought him around, and G-Rap started spitting for me, and I was like, oh, he's tough. And he wanted to meet LL, but without knowing, both of them cats were going up to Harlem and messing with Silver Fox from the Fantasy 3 at Joe Grant's club up there. But they had met each other, but they were both being mentored by Silver Fox. And they were just talking, and G really wanted to get on, and Polo had ended up getting a situation through Marley Marl. And he was looking for a rapper. And I had told him about G-Rap. Eric B mentioned G-Rap. And, he had, my cousin was trying to do the project with him. That didn't work out. He got another guy from the neighborhood. That didn't work out. And so I was like, yo, check out G-Rap. And so he went and got him. And when he heard him, he knew that was going to be the guy. And they did us a demo. And I had been running with him from that point. But me and G-Rap were like the best rappers in the neighborhood. So our relationship was more lyrical related. He didn't know I was on the turntables. I didn't really share that with many people. But his girl, that was like a sister to me, when he wanted a DJ, when Jazzy Jeff and them guys hit the scene, he's like, yo, I want that type of dude. And I still never tell him. I stayed quiet. And she told him. She was like, what are you looking for a DJ for? Like, why you don't get Drew to do it? And he was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you don't know? And so she brought him back to the house, and he saw me getting busy and took me to the studio with him and Eric. And we started working on One and Dead Alive, and Large Professor was there. And that stuff just kind of happened organically and so forth. And then later on, we meet Jay Swift. He's bringing, Papoose and, his other artists through. And he just turned into family. Like you said, he and I just got together right away because he didn't come across as your typical thugs. G liked to keep a lot of thugs, street dudes around him. And that's not really my flavor. I mean, I rock with them all day long. But, I'm a recluse type dude. And Swift was like that. He was, just really into the art. And so, dudes like that, Nas was like that too. They would just kind of gravitate towards me. And
that's the Virgo, bro.
Yeah, the Virgo thing. All 3 Virgos, exactly. All 3 Virgos. And it's funny, but it's serious though. We would just sit there and talk and build. And me and that dude me and Swift stayed together, like, keeping in contact forever. Like, I mean, it was like just a natural thing. You didn't have to force it. And, just sharing production ideas and inviting him to the studios, you know what I'm saying? Things he was doing, he would keep me involved in. We would talk about the business because the business was so shiesty, and you don't learn a lot of things other than talking to people and stuff. So, it was a lot of help, man, like brotherly love, help type stuff. So, again, we just, that's how that started. And bringing him into projects, he always came through with ill beats and stuff. And, G respected him. So it was like, yo, want to bring him? I was like, yeah, that's family. You got to bring him in. You know what I'm saying? Let him do some work and stuff. So that's how that relationship manifested and still there today.
Right. Oh. And it's crazy because I met G, which a real good close friend of my family. We call each other cousins. My man Ike Capone from Fort Greene. You know what I'm saying? G-Rap always mention him. And Ike told me one day, he's like, yo, because I said, yo, I want to meet G-Rap. I'm a little dude at this time. He's like, man, because I ain't never knew he rap. I'm like, yo, because I knew him on some other stuff. I'm like, and I said, yo, I want to meet G-Rap. So he said, I'm going to plug you up. So what he did was he hit G up. He's like, yo, I'm going to send my cousin over there. You know what I'm saying? He want to meet you. So I went to G crib, G got ammunition all over the crib and all this stuff. But I always affiliate myself with rappers. For some reason, I always find myself with a whole bunch of rappers. So I know these other 2 cats that G was messing with was called Un and Barshaw. I had G running with, I brought them to G. You know what I'm saying? I bought Barshaw under G. You know what I'm saying? They was some neighborhood cats that they was ill spitters. So, and I knew G like the ill spitters. So they was trying to work some things out where they could actually, G could get them under the umbrella or whatever. That didn't work out. So again, me coming up, I came up some of the greats, you know what I'm saying? My man DR Period, shout out to DR Period. At the time, I had Jenks the Juvie, one of my other little great homies and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I was introduced to Jenks to another cat who actually raps. His name is Profile. And he told me about Jenks. Jenks was at 13 at the time. So I said, yo, let me hear this little dude. So I go to Jenks' crib. So I'm here and I'm like, oh, this dude only 13? Yo, you messing with me. That's my little brother. So what I would do was I would take Jenks around people who I knew that rap. So, and when I'm like, yo, you nice? All right, let me hear something. Then I would let Jenks get them. And they'd be looking at him like, yo, this little dude right here. And they'd be like, yo, he's a monster. So fast forward, one of my great cousins, one of my good cousins, my little cousin, my cousin Pothead, he told me about this cat named Ike Nitty at the time. And I said, yo, who this cat named Ike Nitty, man? I'm like, yo. And he said, yo, your little man can't mess with my man Ike. So I'm like, all right, come on, I'm going to go to Ike crib. So we go to Ike crib. I'm like, yo, your name Ike? He's like, yeah. I said, yo, my cousin Pothead told me you rap. He's like, yeah, I do. I said, let me hear something. So when he spit, I looked at Jenks and I was like, nah, son, don't even do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, Jenks.
That's messed up.
Jenks and I came along. Now we goes down to DR's studio. So now DR's down there. He got a new artist. And I'm like, yo, Duke Nice, who's Duke? He's like, yo, that's my man. That's my artist, Papoose. I'm like, word? I'm like, all right. Yo, Duke Nice. So I bring Jenks down there. Jenks go down there, he spit, Round Smooth, Trigger, you know what I'm saying? DBL's Christ, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Ron Wrecker, all us family, you know what I'm saying? So they down there like, yo, this little dude 13, he spit like this. So I was like, yeah. So me and Pat developed a nice bond. Like I have a bond with all of them, you know what I'm saying? But me and Pat was different because Pat was kind of still Pat wanted to learn the business at the time. So what happened was yo, look at Ray, my man Ray Luger. What up, Ray? So Pat wanted to learn the business. So what I started doing was I wasn't keeping them as artists. I was taking them and learning and teaching them the business. Like if I go to a meeting to play beats, I would have Papoose with me. You know what I'm saying? Or I would have Ike and Diamond with me. I would have Jenks with me. I would have these people, these brothers, young brothers with me so they could see different stuff coming out of Brooklyn because a lot of cats wasn't seeing that. They would go to these labels with me and they would see celebrities like they would see Buster, they would see these people. And a lot of these cats knew me. So they were like, yo, how the hell you know this dude? You know what I'm saying? So it was like I built rapport with a lot of people. So I had a situation where I had a P&D deal with a label called Unique Records. So I developed my own record company called Medina Records, and that's how exactly the first single I did with Jenks, which is I'm the Future and Above the Limit, was featured Papoose and Ike and Diapher, was developed. Again, took Jenks, Pap, Ike to G-Rap. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew everybody looked up at G-Rap. Like even me, I was like, G was a spitter. So by this time, I would always hear Butcher. I knew of Butcher, but I never met him. So when G actually when they was working on the Roots of Evil album, that's when me and Butcher actually physically met. And it been brotherly love ever since then. Like it never, like we talk about family stuff because I was trying to get him to move down here to VA, but he's like, yo, Swift, I'm gonna go down there to to Texas or whatever. So I'm like, yo, and ever since then we just been brothers. And when I started working with Kitty, he was the first one I called. Like, yo, bro, I got a situation. I need you to come help me out with this situation. Butcher been there, my brother ever since. Yeah, you know what I'm saying it's a lot of more people involved, but I'm speaking of Butcher right now because Butcher's on here, but. My other artist right there, Ray Luger, I wish he would have came on here and tell because he got his
He's a beast. I love Ray. He's a beast.
Well, send him the link. He could come through. We got room.
So we
got room.
I'm gonna send you the link right now so you can come up on here. But yeah, my son been around all that, man. You know, that's why it was easy for him to, grasp the information. He been around all that.
All right.
Right. And that's the dope thing about, again, having a father like that, man. And I see that GXFR tag on the bottom. Since we talking about connections and who we've linked up with over the years, how did that connection happen?
Man, so funny story, right? Because I almost played around and missed out. So I was in New York 2018, right? So I was about to be 29. So I don't know. Anyway, I had a battle, and I was at my ex crib. I was in New York, and my homie shout out to my homie Soup. He sent me a link. Well, he sent me an IG post from West. He was like, "Yo, West looking for beats," and that's the first time he ever did this because usually he either using Damager or Uncle Al for a lot of the production. So I'm like, I bet, but the post was like 40, 50 minutes in. So I'm thinking, yo, the email probably full. I'm wasting my time, but I already had a beat tape out called Corner Bodega that was catering kind of to the sound already. And I sent West like 6 or 7 joints. And send the joints. And pardon me, my dog wild. Send some joints. And his road manager had hit me, and I'm like, "Yo, who is this?" Like, cause I like to do my research on people, and it turns out like he said who he said he was. Shout out to B, and your West want to use one of your joints. I'm like, what? And again, it's like 40 minutes in. I'm thinking the email is full, and he was like, "Yo, he rocking with your joint heavy." So, that's how I ended up getting my first placement on Hilla 6, the Big Luther joint, man. And that was my first placement in 2018. 2019 kind of ran through. I was almost on every other project. 2019, 2020, with the COVID and everything happening. So the work was, it wasn't as much as it was the year before. So I did the Little Siege joint and I did the Elzar project, and I'm doing the Amani Caesar joint too. So 2020 is pretty good. But yeah, that's how I end up linking with them. But it's basically through the homie Soup, who threw the alley-oop for the post. With Conway was the homie Flea Lord. They did a record together. I was like, yo, bro, I think it'd be dope to have Conway on this record. And I remember I was at work. He had hit me. He was like, yo, bro, remember what you asked for? Like, what you mean? So I forgot, honestly. He was like, yo, I got Slime on the record. He's on my Conway. So got the joint on Broken Femur. And yo, shout out to A. So yeah, ended up that's how that happened through Flea Lord. So that's how I linked with Conway. Yeah, man. So a lot of history for sure. That's how I ended up working with them.
Wiki, another Flea Lord connection.
Yeah.
Another Flea Lord connection on the show. We gotta if you can help us out with that, we gotta get him on the show because who we had Me Fucks and what's his name? Who what the hell was
Jag?
Yes, G4 Jag.
Yep.
Yeah, we had G4 Jag and Me Fucks on the show, and they broke down their whole connection with Flea Lord and all that stuff and how he's a part of the mob over there and stuff. So yeah, we gotta get to talking to Flea Lord too, Wiki.
Definitely.
Yeah,
If you can help us out with that.
Man, I haven't talked to Flea in a minute, man. The dude, yo, he been working crazy. That's one of the hardest working dudes that I've seen in a long time. Definitely motivated me to go harder with my craft. Like, dude put out a project like every month, and you know, to see the success where he's at today, I was like, yo, bro, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, dude's crazy. You know what I mean? The work ethic is definitely there.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Yeah, he definitely fired a lot.
Absolutely.
Does West Side Gun still call you Beard God?
Funny. You know what's crazy about that? Now, I met him 2019, right? So I met everybody 2019 at the show at Sony Hall. So I'm talking about everybody you could think of was there. I'm talking about Miss Bernadette, Primo, Poison Pen, Sue Surf. Now you name it, they was the Buster. You name it, they was in the building. Fire. I had my ex with me. That was mistake number one. I had my ex with me. I'm trying to handle business. You heard? So I'm trying to handle business. And I ended up going through like backstage, and I seen shout out to B. I seen B, and I think he's packing up. It's like the end of the show, and I went through so a hallway, whatever, and then it was like the dressing room. So boom, went to the dressing room, see Miss Bernadette. You know what I mean? Talking to her for a little minute. She was a little sauce, so we was having a conversation with her for a minute. Then that's when I saw Keisha Plum. Boom, I went to another room. Shout out to, God bless his dad, DJ Shay. He was sitting down. I said, yo, bro, introduced myself, dapped him up, and I seen Benny. So that's why I met Benny first. I was building with him, like, yo, bro, like, yo, Wes really rock with your stuff. He really, really rocking with you. I'm like, bro, you gotta get some work in, typical producer stuff, right? So I left and I went back to the little hallway where it goes to the main stage. So I seen, shout out to the bro 40, seen 40, and 40 basically had me bypass everybody. And I seen Wes. He like, it was good, bad guy. And I'm saying he dapped me up. And that's when I seen Conway too. So I took a picture with everybody. I seen Derringer too. I'm bugging. Seen Derringer while I was in the dressing room. So I seen everybody that that was there. And I feel like I blew my chance because my ex was blowing my line. I left Shorty outside. I'm trying to handle business. I'm like, see, this is why I should have left you home. Like, because initially it was supposed to be me and her brother. But anyway, came about the story. So she hit my line, and Wes was like, yo, sit down, come kick it with us. I'm like, damn, I'm like, yo, I can't even kick it with y'all, man. I got my ex with me. Well, at the time, I was like, I got my girl with me or whatever. So I'm going to holler at y'all at another time. Yo, it had me so tight because there's no telling what could have transpired from that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been really kicking it and building a rapport since 2019. I ain't really started building a rapport until last year. Really kicking it with Wes and everybody. So But to answer your question, yeah, nah, he really don't. He really, I think that was the only time. But it's always love when we link. So he funny, dude. Is super funny, yo, super funny.
Yo, but when you get a tag like that, though, you got to run with it. You got to run with it. Yo, Westside gave me that.
But what's crazy? What's crazy? I don't know how I feel about this, right? So, so I do call myself Beard God or whatever. I had a shorty say she started a clothing line based on the name that I gave myself. She's like, "Yo, you inspired us." I'm like, yeah, "That's not crazy." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
You got to keep it running.
She needs to inspire 10% then.
Respectfully. But nah, shout out to her. She know what it is. Absolutely, man. All good dudes, you know what I'm saying? Despite what people may think, social media is mad weird. But I met these dudes personally, and they some real stand-up dudes. And it's just you don't get to see that often. You know what I mean? We all might have some run-ins with some people that we thought was solid, but they really wasn't. These dudes was real solid individuals. So I'm proud to be, close with the team. You know what I'm saying, for sure.
Nice.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next question is for J.R. Swift and partially for Jay Swift.
Mm.
Now, when you coming up, you were MCing first, and you were in a group going by TCG, True Crime Gangster. For J.R. Swift, you tell us a little bit about that, and Jay, you tell us how it was seeing him at that time.
Hold on a second, because Jay, I told y'all pre-show. I told y'all pre-show he's gonna dig and go there.
Man, damn, I really want to revisit that.
As well.
Yeah, I wish I could call my cousin right now, man. So TCG, right? It was me, my cousin Dante, my cousin Rel, and my homie Khalid, and myself, right? So I'm the producer / rapper. I'm also a rapper / producer, and I was writing some of my cousin Dante. I was writing his rhymes. For he never rapped before, but of course, being around my pops, I already had a musical experience, and I always wanted to rap. So I had a notebook full of rhymes already written. So I'm like, bro, try this rhyme on this beat, and I can help you with the bars or whatever. So I'm helping him rap. My cousin Ralph, so at the time he was like 10, 11 years old, kind of like the Jinx situation. Super nice. So this is the era like when like prom Wayne. I'm talking like yeah, this is like prom Wayne. So he a big, Little Wayne fan. So here, I had a Radio Shack mic. So he he just step up and he just go off. You know what I'm saying? No writtens, nothing. He just go off. And Khalid, the homie Khalid, he was more like MJ, 8-Ball MJG. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his lane. He was like the smooth talker out of everybody. And man, that was some of my best memories though. Everybody would come over to the house and we would just record. I'm talking about some of the closest homies to my homie Vic, my homie I can't think of his name right now, man. Ricky, my homie Rick. Dude just come through and we just vibe and just create music. And that was some of the best years I've enjoyed in my life, man, because everybody was still young, of course, no bills, anything like that. You just young, wild, doing whatever, and just enjoying life and still. But yeah, we all thought, man, we was gonna be the next G Unit. I actually had a package and I had a CD ready to send to Interscope. I wanted to send it in the school so I could send it off and hoping, yo, listen.
Jay's face right now. I'm sorry.
This is yo. This is what it was. And at the time when I was rapping, I was called Jay Killer. So for those who know, Jay Killer was rapping and all that doing my thing. I remember I hated my voice so bad. I even tried to imitate 50, where 50 mouth don't open when he raps. So I had to, you know what I mean, get it off like that, like how he will rap. And I'm like, okay, I could rap like this, smooth. But the beats was sounding very polyphonic. And then I started to develop into producing a little bit more. And I was like, man, I'm gonna leave the rapping alone. This ain't me. I say I got bars though. Like I still actually write and get busy, but I still hear myself. Nah, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, for those who know TCG, yeah.
Well, it was the ringtone era.
Yeah, that is so funny because hearing him rap, I literally had to get close to him to hear exactly what the hell he's saying like this. Because that's how he used to rap. I'm like, yo, why you talk so low, man? That's what actually really got him to get into production because he used to talk and rap so low that you had to get close up. Yo, let me hear what you're saying. Like that. You know what I'm saying? But I just seen the process, man. You know what I'm saying? I just seen the process of him going from, being a rapper to being a producer. And I'm glad he did pick producing because I don't know about his rapping skill, but I had to give him the credit because he was trying. He was doing. The thing is, I would put any one of my children, as long as they doing something positive, and that's one thing I can say about him. He was doing something positive. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. And we got Mr. TCG for life, fool. He popped up in the A1. What's going on?
Yo, peace, everybody. Yeah, peace. I was just listening. Real dope joint. You know what I mean? A lot of jewels, a lot of history. And I love the vibes. So I had to just tap in because I was there for all of this. And it's just good to see my family shine. So just wanted to share, give those flowers. I told them it's like the first time in hip hop, father and son, man. We don't get these moments often, so they got to celebrate it and look at it as a first in culture. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might have happened, but the likelihood of the child being dope as well, or the father being dope, is slim to none. And then you got two dope individuals performing at a high level in music. It's amazing for the culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is true because Jordan's sons in basketball. Michael Jordan's sons in basketball. But this is the second time I'm interviewing a father's son because on my show, The Star 5, I actually had the gold medalist from Lamont Smith and his son, Jay Smith, back when he was about to graduate high school. And to see him elevate to the way he is in track on the track, not as good as his daddy. Because his daddy is a gold medalist in the 4x100. Yeah, but so JR, that means you got some work to do. You got to get up to gold medal status like your father.
Absolutely.
He did, man. He right on my neck, man. I just got to get him business oriented. Once he get that, man, he good, man. I'm just trying to get him in that one, get him in that place. I want to sit back and relax on the island, man. Me and Butch up in age, man.
That's it. Our backs and knees and hands don't work the same no more.
Niggas be dealing with arthritis and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout outs to my homie Arthur. I know him well.
Yeah, I'm glad my cousin A1 tuned in because there's a lot of history. I'm trying to get Ray, but he keep texting me talking about, yo, I'm gonna let you shine, bro. You part of this too. You know what I'm saying?
Join in. Yeah, join in.
Come on in. We got a couple more seats left, man. Come on in.
I told Key too. She talking about she just working out what she did, so
it's all right. You could come in sweaty too, Key. It's all good.
I was just on an interview last week, so I'm like, man, go ahead, you family. This is all family, man. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. This has been hella fun too, man. And let's keep the party going.
Yeah. So my cousin A1, me and him got a lot of history, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of history, you know what I'm saying? And then he played a big influence, you know, while I call him Jaquan, but JR making beats and you know, and yeah, so it was a lot of history with him. Yeah, I could probably get questions from him, Butcher, you know what I'm saying, and questions from me and my son. But yeah, whatever. I'm here, bro. We got history, man. There's a lot of history. I ain't gonna overwhelm y'all with too much, but you know, y'all ask a question, I'm gonna give y'all the answer. Y'all want to learn the history?
Yeah.
I give it to y'all. There's no filter here, man.
All right.
Yeah. So I came on a little bit later in the game because Jay, you know, he's my older cousin by a few years, so obviously he's still younger than the people in my household that's around me. So he was like the perfect age to be a big brother, not old enough to be my uncle, you know what I'm saying? Not young enough to be a peer, but just that right age to be a big brother. So he was able to pass down the elements, you know what I mean? He first brought his turntables to the crib, probably 87, 88, maybe 87. And you know, that's when I first started seeing him doing routines and how skilled he was then, probably 15, 16 years old at this time, if that's correct. And then, you know, he also used to cut my hair because Jay is a master barber. And at that time, you know, everybody wanted the high top fades with the designs and everything. And he was that skilled at 16, you know what I mean? And that comes from the art because he also assisted me in my graffiti hand, helped me to shape my letters
Nice.
correctly and you know to draw my characters correctly. And you know, that's something that I still carry to this day is my art. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's still a vital part of my life. So that's the earlier culture, the elements, you know, the dancing and everything. The MCing wouldn't come until much later, you know what I mean? Like the first time I really wanted to be serious, Jay was down and he was just coming down to VA for a visit. This was probably 1993. You know what I'm saying? When I saw him, he had his MP with him. He was playing beats. He was out there, you know, I'm talking about like around the Nas's and the AZs and the videos and in the industry. And I was like, yo, I want to make music. I can rhyme. At that time, I could rhyme, but what Jay said was I wasn't ready. He was like, not yet, not yet. So life goes on, and you know, when I was younger, I was an knucklehead, so I went away for a while. But when I came back, it's like 1997, and Jay was down in VA for a visit, and I spoke to him, rapped for him, and he was like, "Now you ready?" And from then, I started traveling back and forth to New York to make music with him. Jaquan was born by then. He was a little kid running around the house, just absorbing everything we was doing. They eventually moved to VA. We kept picking up the operation. Jay even built the studio around me. You know what I'm saying? As an artist, he built the whole studio. You know, so I'm getting it. You know, from that angle, not even understanding how much more I was getting. You know what I mean? Like Jay was very patient. You know what I'm saying? And the patient I mean by he wouldn't give me beats off the MIDI disc or the disc, you know, hard disc, floppy disc that he already made. He was like, nah, I'm gonna make something now and you gonna write it right now. Now I understand that was to get the stream of consciousness and that inspiration. You know what I mean? I didn't understand it then. It was like, yo, we wasting time. I could just take these beats and then go home and write. You know what I mean? But he made me do it on the spot. That made me a faster, more sharper MC. You know, fast forward, we start working on, you know, what will be the demos and some of the pieces of rhymes that would become my first album. You know what I'm saying? And mixtape, and just Jay helped me hone those skills to a point where I could be a professional artist. My first opportunity to be in the music industry was with cannabis. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to have a first piece of work that you do, you know, with an underground legend was phenomenal, and that came through Jay. It was always going to be something that was authentic, and that helped me build, you know, my independent sensibilities that I have today. You know what I'm saying? Through the way that he taught me and groomed me for the game.
Your cuz, I'm gonna intervene right quick, but to give him a little bit more history on that, it was actually when we started doing that is when you did Cole's Casket with Pap on it. Um,
Oh yeah,
Now, so, but another thing you can say too, A been around too. A been around Pap. A been around G and all that. You know what I'm saying? He been around, but he wasn't as much around as you know, maybe Pat, because he was still living in VA. But when he would come up there, I would have him around. Same thing with Ray Luger. You know what I'm saying? They all been around, you know, to see all this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's like I said, man, this is my blood, man. You know, I can't make this up, and that's why I'm able to come give it to y'all authentic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted him to come on so he could speak his history, you know what I'm saying, as well as Butcher, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could get Ray up here and my son. Yeah. So all this was surrounding me connecting people, because I'm not the type of person that if I have information, I'm gonna keep it all to myself. I'm spreading it. I spread the love because I want to see everybody shine.
Everybody shine. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how it. And that's how it should go. Like he said, you the great connector. And like shout out to my homie Will Strickland. Like he's one of those who preaches to all of us and how big connections are. Right. How big connections are, and connections, especially when you can do something for somebody. And again, you putting your family on is like, it's not even like a nepotism thing. It's like, yo, here's the tools. Mm-hmm. Learn. And your story, A1, is it the way you came up is it mirrors how the culture of hip hop was started. Like you was around the DJ stuff first with the writing, and you said the dancing, and then it evolved into you rhyming.
Y'all ain't hear that part of dancing. Y'all ain't hear that.
Well, I caught it. Yo, hey, I ain't gonna lie, Ian. Let's keep it real. You know, all them Easter Sundays when you put them shoes on, you either thought you could tap dance or you thought you could b-boy because you could start spinning in them shiny ass clothes. So let's keep it real. We all did that shit. We all did that shit.
Shout out to IBM dancers, man. My brother, absolutely. My older brother. He's not my blood brother, but brother came. That title won't separate us. My brother Disco. Disco was another great influence to me. You know what I'm saying? That's my big brother. You know what I'm saying? My mom's look at him as a son, and she take him as a son, and that's to this day, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? He was my influence in dancing, man, because even though I was DJing, producing, it was just something about dancing. I was like, man, this nigga is nice. And he used to always come home to the crib and show me and my brother Maine, you know what I'm saying, routines. I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I gotta learn these joints and shit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, big shout out to my brother Disco, man. You know what I'm saying? Omar Sprue, that's my brother, man. But yeah, so that's what Amar get. That's what A1 get all that for. I got a good friend named Amar. He got history. That's my childhood friend. Yeah. He probably told in too, but that's where he get that dancing stuff from, man.
That's cool. But the Dr. Butcher though, like we were talking earlier about how as DJs and stuff and evolution, and that's exactly what A1 just mentioned, like that evolution into growing into your own.
Yeah. I mean, I watched so many dudes and artists, DJs, everybody, producers do that, you know, and it takes a minute, you know, finding the gear, the equipment that works for you, turntables, or writers finding their zone, writing songs and their lane, you know, where they want to go. You want to be underground, you want to be commercial. I mean, there's a lot to that. And then finding the people, you got to surround your people with like minds. Surround yourself with people with like minds to get that accomplished. So that's another thing, you know, like Jay said, having relationships with people, building with people. I mean, so many people in my clip, it was just the weirdest thing, just started making records of like Zodiac Fish Grease, went to high school with, between LL, Beat Nuts, Fashion is like my cousin. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You know, my neighbor Kid and Play, all these cats were just around, and just like the same time, everybody just started making things happen. Things were just happening left and right. So, you know, you surround yourself around the right people, things are going to happen for you. You're going to learn. You're going to get experience. You know, all types of stuff is going to happen. So you have to do it. You know,
just like Baby Butcher in behind you. I see that.
Hands right there.
Yeah, but I want to say something right quick. Yo, and I'm gonna get your ass. And but now, real quick. So the cannabis joint, I have to give props is due. I'll tell you a quick story about that. So my good family, they my family too. Knots Raw and Daryl Sloan. You know, they had hit me up and they's like, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? Cannabis working on the project. I got a joint for you, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. He said, yo, you could get your cousin and your cousin A1 and I can for Diamond on it. I'm like, word. So they told me to come with the beat. I actually made the beat. A1 was slumped in the chair. He was out cold. You know what I'm saying? Mouth open and everything. So I made the beat. I told him I got him up. He wrote the rhyme, sent it to Ike and for Diamond. But the crazy thing about that whole joint is Ike and for Diamond. I had sent it to my man Amar in New York. Amar got it set up. That's my second studio when I come to New York. So I sent it to Amar, and I'm like, yo, this is about what? It was about like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when we sent it to Ike.
Yeah, it was
So
a night.
this is a funny story. This is true story. This is funny. So we sent the vocals up after A did his verse, sent it up there to New York. So now Ike and for Diamond, you know, he's lyrical crazy. So I sent it to Amar. I get to Amar crib about 11 o'clock. So I'm like, yeah, okay, yo, I need to have that joint back to Darwin and Knots in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I have it done so they can send it to Cannabis. Yeah, all right, cool. This is no lie. I called 5 o'clock in the morning. I had I said, yo, what's up, man? Y'all finished? He said, yo, son, yo, man, in there still writing a verse. I said, you lying, man. I said, I since 11 o'clock, I said, yo, Ike, you got all these rhymes. Why you writing a verse for? He sat there all day to the morning and couldn't write a verse and wound up using a verse that he used on that Cannabis joint that he already written. That's crazy. So I had to get it back from him with the verse, put it together, send it to Knots and Daryl Sloan, you know what I'm saying? My other family. And that's how the Cannabis joint got on it. You know what I'm saying? Because originally I was gonna put A1 on it, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna put, again, I'm looking out for family. So yeah, that's how that was.
So
that's the story.
And for those that want to know about that track, it's called Take That. That's off Cannabis album Hip Hop for Sale.
Oh, so you was already doing your homework on that. Yeah.
I told y'all. Yeah. I told y'all. Be prepared. I told y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the history, man. That's the history. You know what I'm saying, when it came to the Cannabis joint. But yeah, I mean, I'm always about connecting dots, man, and putting people in great positions, man, because that's all I knew of. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with great morals, and I grew up with people that they shorty. Like, yo, that's my little man, nobody gonna do that. So I always embedded that type of, stuff in me. So whereas when I came to the music, it was natural. Like, I'm always connected dots, and anybody can tell you, if anytime I connect somebody with something, I never want anything from it. I just want to see other people shine. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing with my producer friends, from Butcher to my man Funk Star to my man Static to my man Amar. I mean, the list goes on. And all these people, all these great brothers, they go back to my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, your son got some shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dope ethic to have, because that's one of those type of mentalities that it gets carried down. It just goes down the list, and that next person that you taught, that you helped, you put on, would do the same thing or should do the same thing. And it's just one of them things that should just keep going on and on and on and on. And a lot more people should start helping others without looking for incentive, because you keep looking for incentive, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Right.
Especially when you got connections.
But a lot of people ain't like that. That's why I keep my circle small, because anybody who I dealt with now is people I dealt with for a very long time. I don't really bring in new people because I don't got time and patience to try to learn if somebody being sincere or somebody just being it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather deal with genuine people. And that's why I said my circle, I call everybody that's a part of my circle is family. It's no like, yo, that's my man. If I call you my brother, then you my brother. If I call you my man, that's just somebody that you don't know where I live at. You know what I'm saying? We just deal business. But most of the people that I mention is my family. You know what I'm saying? We communicate. We talk about family stuff. We talk about music stuff. We talk about reality stuff. Again, you know what I'm saying? So I have those type of relationships. You know, like my man Ant right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not his older brother. He up there joking. But again, that's family. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of relationship I'll build with everybody. You know what I'm saying? With everybody.
That's dope.
I do stuff from genuine. I don't ask for nothing back.
Well, I will say, once we put our projects together with HHDG Media, don't be afraid and don't hesitate to help us brothers out when we need it, you know. Because I mean, this connection here. I mean, and don't take this like I'm closing this out, because this has been phenomenal so far.
Right.
We're gonna keep this going, but this connection here though is, again, we love connections, and we want to keep up with y'all when this is over, and whatever we can do to help y'all out, just call on us. Just call on us, man. We started 2 years ago as a business, but we're still an upstart, and we're one of those that it's like, as soon as we want to do something, then it's just go time, and we do it. So like I said, whatever you need us, whenever any of y'all need something from us to help out in any kind of way, because we are a multifaceted team over here at HHDG Media, just reach out, and we can help y'all out in any way.
Yo, bro, let me say this right quick. That's the purpose why, you know, because I didn't want to overstep my boundary with your platform, but that was the reason why I wanted to bring special guests, is to show y'all what type of person I is, because y'all wasn't even respecting it. That's why I kept asking y'all, and we love it. Asking y'all for links, because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna bring special people in. You know what I'm saying? And Butcher was the one that showed up. But I mean, you know, people get tied up in things. That doesn't mean they can't support. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take offense to that. But Pat did tell me he was gonna tap in. He might be watching it. I don't know, but I wanted him to come in, you know, say his little thing with our history too, and as well as JR, because he actually just started working with JR, but he knew him when he was a shorty. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, if he's still got the time, we still here. So, if you know, we here,
no doubt. But yeah, man.
So now you mentioned not. So we know that the two of y'all have known each other for quite some time, and your son has been in the studio with him for quite some time. So I got a question for J.R. Swift. There was a time where you used to make trap beats, and Knox was one of the people that helped you to decide on your transition, so to say.
Yo, how the hell you get all this information, bro?
I told y'all. I didn't want to say it, but this is the Black Nardwar.
Yo, that's crazy.
Honestly, I remember. I remember calling. What do I want to say? You know what's so crazy is that I remember. Yeah, I was doing wild trap stuff, like you figured Lex Luger, type style, like all that stuff, because I was heavy into like Waka Flocka and all that. So I am like I enjoy that type of music, but I remember 2010 because I moved to Charlotte 2009. So 2010, I remember calling A. I remember calling A1. I was like, yo, I think I'm about going back to the Essence. And I had bought Elmon's Black Kit. I think he just dropped the Black Kit. And that's when I started going crazy. And then me and A did 93 Octane. I might have been 2012 or 13, somewhere around there. I remember talking to Knots, and he was like, yo, bro, like, just, you know, go back to doing, you know, your pop set the foundation, man, you know, continue to do that. And I remember seeing him, of course, being in the studio. So it was like 97, 98, when we first moved to VA. Being in the studio, this week he had like the little locks or whatever. That's why he got his name. That's how he got his name. Because here being Onadi, I think his grandmother or his mom's gave him that name, if I'm not mistaken. I think his grandmother gave him his name. But being in the studio at the first Dirt Factory and hearing like these crazy beats. But I remember he used to chase me around the studio. He used to dig up his nose. Chase me around the studio. I'm like, yo, you always trying to, you know what I'm saying? But long story short, man, like I just want to say I'm thankful for all of that. I'm thankful for the people that's here that molded and shaped me to the producer that I am and the man I am today. And it's the people that I talk to on a regular about any and everything far as you know, music goes, because I jumped off the porch basically 2018 and been quite overwhelmed with the success that's been going on. But I talked to them to be humble. Even to Ray, I remember Ray Luger was there too. We used to live in East New York. Everybody was there. Everybody used to be at the crib a lot, and that's the motivation for me to keep going. And that goes back to the music too. They don't make them like that sound. They don't make it like that no more. The genuine sound, genuine people too. They don't make them like that no more. So when you got people like that that's in your corner, keep them around as well. But yeah, man. Yep. So actually A and Knots that actually pushed me to go back to the sound actually.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
now with
yo, I knew when I heard him though. Sorry for just saying
no, like
because
that.
nah, like after working with his father, I immediately knew when I started hearing Jaquan's more polished production. He got past that rudimentary level. Pardon me, JR's production. He got past the rudimentary level, and his music started to sound more refined. I knew that he had the potential, so I wanted to do something with Lil Cuz, and we made a few tracks, couple tracks. But I was happy that he got to such a point where my wife noticed. She MCs as well, and she heard a joint on his gram, wrote a song to it. He liberated it, and I was able to get Lil Cuz on his first vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Because vinyls are also a big part of the journey. I got that from Jay. You know what I mean? Like Jay is a real collector, real digger. Probably got a collection with many G's, but we'll talk about that later because it's probably in some temperature control storage or something. It ain't even at the crib, probably. You know what I
Nah, too
mean?
many records, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. You get a phone call from Jay to move, don't answer it. Like it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But nah, Jr. though is just getting his feet on the ground and being able to talk to him daily and drop some of the same jewels that his pops would give me. But I'm a little younger, so my perspective is different. So he's very protected in this game where he got levels and layers of protection where he might hear my perspective and then he can get the perspective of his father. You know what I'm saying? He can get on the phone with Uncle Ray, you know what I mean? Holla at Ray Luger. Shouts out to Ray. Another one of the homies who assisted me in my growth and development, you know what I mean, early on running with Jay. But he has a bright future. You just got to stay patient and just stay consistent because that's what it's about. Critical acclaim and consistency, and you're gonna be good. You know what I mean? Sometimes we rush and put our hand in the pot, and the cookies go away way too quickly. You know what I'm saying? But he's got a long way to go, and he's in just this great position right now where he has the knowledge of the game and coming from a perspective that's not necessarily hungry to sign contracts and take deals. And it's a blessing. So it's a blessing again to see this, you know what I mean, two generations of the game right here in front of you.
Appreciate
Well
that,
said,
Chris.
man. Yeah.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Now you should give your wife some more shine because I know about the just to give speak on
Yeah. So to give my wife partner in crime, partner in rhyme as well. And JR produced the joint of her third album. It is Greater Later called Passed Out. We shot a video in New York while during the time we're filming the documentary Underdogs. That's on Netflix now. By the way, go check Underdogs. If you don't have an account, you can also check it out on redbull.tv. That's Underdogs, documentary about underground hip hop shit. Go check it out. But the video came out dope. The song got really received well in Europe. When we would tour and go out across the pond, they just respond to the record so well. And every time I hear it, I get lost in it because I know that this is my cousin and my wife producing this music that people thousands of miles away love, and I have such a personal connection to the record. You know what I'm saying? The record of being about her losing her mother. You know what I'm saying? I was there, so it's just a personal connection, and you don't get that experience many times in hip hop. So I gotta appreciate Lil Cuz for coming up with such an amazing composition that it inspired her instantly to make a joint that, you know, people still rocking to this day. So respect due, and shouts out to Tiff the Gift, wifey. You know what I mean? It's always one of the dopest MCs I know.
Yeah, shout out to Tiff. We got some cooking too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, it's like I said, it's an honor to be to get assistance with somebody that two people that I look up to in the game that fed me so much, knowledge. Because I know for me, I'm just keep it real and transparent. Like it was overwhelming to basically foot hit the ground and I'm just running. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect when my time was gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I've been a fan of West Side and Griselda, but to 2017 to be at a show and then 2018 get my first placement. You know what I'm saying? And 2019 basically hitting the ground running. It's still surreal to me that I'm in this position that I'm in and be able to basically be like, yo, bro, like West, like what's good? Like to able to call this man after like 2017, didn't know no connections, no nothing. He don't know me. Or I know of him musically, but don't know him as a person. It's different. And to get the game that that they provided, is that's something that I could share with, if I have kids, share with my kids and share with people around me. Like I got homies that ask me information and I could provide them with the information that my peoples gave me. So that's something I could take with me forever. So salute to y'all, man. Thank y'all, honestly.
No doubt. Always.
Yeah.
Y'all always seem to always connect the dots. So Jay Swift, you briefly spoke on T Turner's interview about AZ and how that was like a hub. Can you tell us a little bit about how it was back then?
Okay, I'm sorry because you was breaking up. You said Keith Turner.
Oh, I was saying on Keith Turner's interview, you briefly spoke about AZ and how that was like the hub right there.
Anthony Cruz. Yeah, so he lived around the corner from me. I lived on Sutter. He lived on Williams. J. Rue the Damager he lived across the street from my childhood friend Amar, which we called him at the time Wiz. You know, he graduated from that and called himself Amar now. So AZ, I came up into the Nation of God's Earth for one. I used to DJ for one of my other great friends. His name is Shabar. Shabar always been a fanatic of information. You know, I came up as a Christianity, you know what I'm saying? So I always had questions that I wanted to, I felt like I could never get answers to. So when I started DJing for Shabar actually when I gave me the name Jay Swift. When I got introduced to Shabar, when I was a DJ for Shabar actually the one that really connected dots with. I knew AZ, but he connected the dots with me and Powerful, Powerful was the rapper for DJ Plastic Man. He introduced me to Plastic Man and DJ Craze from Brownsville and all that. So Shabar was wicked when it came to information, and I just gravitate to that. So he actually the one that gave AZ his name, Asiatic. We knew Anthony, which is what they would call him around the way, you know what I'm saying, as a rapper, Pretty Boy, he was the same shit, you know what I'm saying, fly guy, Pretty Boy. And he knew me for DJing, you know what I'm saying, because his homies lived in my building. I was cool friends with them. His one of his good friends named Will, you know what I'm saying, he lived on the 6th floor, I lived on the 2nd floor. They used to call themselves the Misfits, you know what I'm saying, it was AZ, it was Wiz, a couple of other cats. His name was Wiz too, even though his name was Will, but they call him Wiz, but so AZ used to always come to my crib, you know what I'm saying, hey, me DJ, you know what I'm saying, and like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So when AZ was to come to my crib, I was a childhood friend of Amar. Amar is a crazy spitter. Like Amar was take dudes' heads off. So I would connect them together. You know what I'm saying? I would connect AZ. It used to be a crew. It used to be AZ, Shabar, Amar, my man King Shaheed, my man Top Dollar. Who else was amongst us? It was a bunch of ill rappers from Brownsville, East New York. Like nobody was touching us. And I was just the only one that was doing the DJing. I mean, the DJ and producing at the time with the EPS, which was Amar's. I ain't have no equipment then. So that's how that came about, you know what I'm saying? So that's how ill it was. And then later on, I was introduced to Jay with a Damage. He lived across the street because I used to always see him, but nobody never knew he rapped. You know what I'm saying? So Wiz Amar told me, like, yo, you know, that's Jay with a Damage. He lived right around across the street. So they was all connected, you know what I'm saying? So then the whole boot camp, I knew all them cats, like every last one of them. So, once you're in the industry and once it's pretty much like a big family, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I know everybody, man. So that's how I came about.
Speaking on when and working with everybody, like Dr. Butcher, who's been some of your favorites? You've been, whether it's beat-man producing or just tour DJing for, who's been some of your favorites out there that you've worked with?
Man, I've toured with Jay-Z. I mean, I've pretty much been around everybody in the business, man. Like, there's nobody that I don't think I have not been around in some form of fashion.
Nelly, everybody.
Yeah, it's just so much, dude. And a lot of it's just, you know, more so, you know, not being, starry-eyed by being around anybody, you know. Just you learn a lot and you get to share the information. You know, like I could talk to Jay, so, you know, if his son is doing stuff, there's so much information that we can share about the business, not to make the mistakes that we made, or not necessarily mistakes, but, you know, you show loyalty to some degree to certain people and it works against you. You know what I'm saying? And you spend a career doing that. And at the end of the day, you realize, you know, you built up a monster and you just kind of out there, you know. And so when you talk to people, you know, you want to kind of, I have young cousins coming up doing the same thing, you know, in the business stuff. And you want to help them avoid those stumbling blocks. But, you know, as far as being, I mean, Eric B, Rakim, G-Rap, I mean, LL Cool J, I've been around the upper echelon of the game, you know, in the 90s. Anybody with somebody, I was there. Large Professor, again, the Beat Nuts, just everybody. Like, I was around everybody. And, you know, I would just stay quiet and study. Nas, you know, everybody, you just stay quiet and study, because there's always people out there and just learning what is expected of you, or what do you expect of yourself, and not getting lost. You know, we would tour with Akinelli, we would have 21 strippers on the bus. You know, people assume, oh, that's just fun. You're sleeping with all these girls. And we wasn't touching nothing. You know, I didn't drink, smoke. I don't do any of that. Akinelli didn't do any of that. We didn't touch the girls. We were about getting our money. You know, so if you're not disciplined and understanding, you know, and me following the righteous path, if you're not understanding what your goal is, or what your destination and your potential, or what your purpose is in life, you're going to get lost in this game. So focus. You know, and
indeed,
yeah, you'll always see people. I mean, you know, comrades, everybody doing it. You try to help each other out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I guess me and Swift always stayed in connection. You know, even when we weren't making music, it was just that transition of music changing and us talking, getting into software and different things. We stay in contact, keeping us abreast of everything that's out there. I don't think there's anything that's available that we don't know about. You know, like, very intuitive and knowing what's going on in the music business. So that's how you got to do that, you know, and not to get so concerned with who you're working with at the moment, because at the end of the day, that's their deals. You know what I'm saying? I produced G-Rap's, like you mentioned, the Roots of Evil album. Me and my partner CJ, I stayed with him in Arizona for months putting that album together, only for him to come back and get himself a $3 million record deal for 2 albums. I don't get to see any of that advancement money. You know, I got actually 1 song on the project, and I got paid $1 for the 1 song, literally $1, because Rawkus had paid all these other big-time producers to do the project. And when it was over, I get a call, and he's just like, yo, we found this tape with these beats, and I swear I think they're yours. You know, do you recognize this music? And I was like, yeah, that's mine. And he's like, yo, son, can you come to the studio tonight and we drop this? You know, I'm like, sure. What are we looking at? Making money. And he's like, yo, well, the budget's exhausted. You know, there's nothing there. And I was like, yo, whatever. You know, only because of the relationship. And I had multiple projects being released at the time. I ignored the pay because I felt like it would just make me look like I'm extremely busy in a business and my stocks go up regardless. So I, business-wise, knew what to do with that move. But, you know, just to see how things happen, you know, when you wouldn't have had that deal had me and CJ not went out to Arizona to put this project together, you were kind of dead in the dust. No one was thinking about G-Rap, but we brought him back to life. And so I felt like, yo, we should have had at least guaranteed 3 to 5 songs, you know. But again, people think for themselves. So you kind of learn not to get caught up with an artist or ride their coattails. You got to create your own coattail. You know what I'm saying? Ride yourself. You got to be yourself because that'll come and go. And me and Swift have had many conversations about that, you know, get burned and just trusting people, you know, because you caught up in that limelight and you got to kind of get outside that bubble, you know what I'm saying, and be real with yourself and keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
everybody that's there, you know, like you're on a good team. Cats want to see you make it, you know. Just stay focused, man. Don't get caught up with anything and anybody around you. You got to know what your purpose is in life. And because some point in time, you might be ahead of these guys, and guys will be coming back to you. Yo, I need your help. So, you know, it's very, very important, man. Stay powerful, of course. Me and Allah, we still have a good relationship, but it's not a music relationship. I mean, we were kids coming up together. So he actually, I've worked with him before, but he's kind of kept me and my man outside of the music realm. He didn't even know it was Dr. Butcher. He would get interviewed, and people would say, and he's like, "Who are you talking about?" Until they say Drew, he was like oblivious to who I was because I wouldn't tell him. I never mentioned me doing music, producing, DJing, anything. So he had no clue. But it's more of a personal thing. And even now, he's like, yo, I like having my friends that I know are like family that can talk to me on a level that other people are not going to talk to me. Because I'll say, I don't like the song, or I don't think you should be doing this or doing that. When others are just, oh, that's LL. That's, you know, they can't say that to him. I can. And he won't get offended. So
true. Yeah, that's dope, and that just speaks to experiences, connections, experiences. Sometimes you got to take those bumps in the road. You got to take those L's, and you know what, and keep it moving while still maintaining said relationships. Like you don't have to break off, and you know, like you said, it's business friendships. You can keep the friendship to the side. While, yeah, maybe business might be fucked up for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But y'all could talk about it later because y'all have the bond that y'all had going into it.
Right.
That's what kind of it's funny that Butcher say that because yeah, he and I do talk. You know, we have been burnt in a lot of situations. Like I said, I extended my hand many a times. I asked nobody for nothing. But the thing is, I don't like is the fact that if you get in position, right, and you see your man is trying to come up. I'll give y'all a small story without going too much into detail. So I'll give you the Anthony Cruz situation, which is AZ. Now, AZ the type of person, and what I'm saying right now, I can say in front of him is no, I don't care. He know how I get down and all that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you the real. If y'all want the real, I'm telling you the real. So AZ was a position, you know what I'm saying, to uplift a lot of brothers, like the same brothers that I was telling you about that was Crew. He got a position first. AZ got a position, he turned his back. So everybody that he knew we was all Crew, he didn't look out for. It wasn't like people was asking him for favors. We just like, yo, put us in positions where we could do our own thing. Now I'm saying we don't want to coattail for you, just put us in a position. But to basically take people on tour, act like, you know, they your groupies and, you know what I'm saying, and then when it's time to, you know, to get them some type of compensation, whatever, you don't do it. You telling, yo, I ain't got it like that and all this. So this is how a lot of animosity develop in so-called friendship, you know what I'm saying? Because none of us asked to be in a position for you to help us. We just like, yo, listen, give us the lane, let us do our own thing. He didn't do that. So fast forward, he blew up, got his little name out there. Now the same people that he shitted on is the same people we calling to this day and like, yo, let's do something together. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we not gonna do that because you was in a position to be able to put everybody up. That's why I fuck with Nas, because Nas did that with his brothers. He did that with Horse. Even though none of them wasn't ill rappers, but he put them in position to say, yo, I'm gonna give y'all enough to see if y'all could carry the torch.
Right.
They didn't, but he still did his part. My thing is this: why I'm so adamant about family is because those type of situations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna deal with you. Either you gonna be my friend or you gonna be my family. And most people that I deal with is family. You know what I'm saying? Drew from Butcher, from Keith Turner, from my man Ant Lamb, and my cousins and stuff. My cousins, they family. Like, this is family. We have our differences and all that, but people on the outside won't even know because we're not the type of people. The type of people that even put that out there. Even my son, me and my son go through ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? But nobody would never know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what family does. You fight, you argue, make up. Yo, me and A1, we had differences. You know what I'm saying? Me and A1 had differences. But that's my cousin. I would never go against the grain for him for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ray Luger, because a lot of time I send Ray shit. Ray want to add his little stuff to my beats. I get mad at him first. Same thing.
Let me tell you another story too. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know.
No, go right ahead.
You know, you think of like a person like Jay-Z and you know, Beanie Siegel and the crew that was singing. But what people don't know, that when I was touring with him, I mean, it was Irv Gotti, me, Akinelli, I mean, just the crew. He had an artist, a cat from New Jersey, down with him called Haas the Ripper. Now, Haas was probably even nicer than Hov. And he was so nice that Hov would never put this dude on anything he did. And me and we were like baffled, like, yo, dang, why is this dude not on any of Jay-Z's songs? And he was like, why do you think he's not on any of Jay-Z's songs? He was just that nice. Like, I mean, Jay would bring him out and let him open the show. And this dude could damn near steal the show from Hov. That's how nice he was lyrically. And he just had him on the show. So I guess the dude at some point got tired and he bounced. The last time I saw him, he was coming out for a fight for Roy Jones Jr. So I guess when I knew Roy Jones had a label, I think he was trying to blow it from there, but he didn't go nowhere. So as an artist coming up, you always have to be aware of that too, that some people sign you to stifle you. If they perceive you as competition, I mean, and being around people and hearing a lot of conversations, that's a big part of the game. Like, you know, so that was like a chess move to kind of stifle this dude and not let the world hear him, you know, and it happens like that with production. I mean, Bink, you know, doesn't like, you know, Just Blaze and Kanye because he always believed he was supposed to be that main producer for Rockefeller Records, but he didn't get that spot. Kanye and Bink, other dude got it. And so Just Blaze got it. So he was always angry about that. You know what I'm saying? From like they stole his style with the putting records on 45 and, you know, all that stuff. You got to kind of watch out because dudes did stuff cheaper. They gave the contracts to them dudes. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be aware. You know what I'm saying? But having, like you said, like his pops and myself, dudes JR can talk to, you can avoid that stuff. You know, and again, you just have to kind of know your purpose in this game or what you're doing, and not get caught up in the atmosphere of what you see. You know what I'm saying? Or who you're around.
Right.
Because it's very easy to get lost in this environment, you know, and this culture is something else, you know.
Right.
So yeah, you just want to stay focused with all that stuff, man.
And you spoke the chess moves, and that's just one of them things. Unfortunately, it happens in business. Yeah. The chess move things happen, like especially like that. Like I'm a professional wrestling fan, and Vince McMahon in the WWE has been currently doing that to prevent people from going to the new promotion AEW, signing, hoarding talent to kind of keep them away. Putting them on 90-day no compete clauses for when you get released. So now you're stuck for 3 months after the fact, can't do much. And it's one of them things that I kind of understand and get in business because competition is a thing. Competition is a thing. But still, you don't want to stifle fully and relationships. You don't want to ruin relationships to the point where now, like we speak, you know, thinking about Kwame Brown. And how Kwame Brown has been expressing how at such a young age, like all that shit that he went through, or all that shit that the man that you mentioned from Jersey went through, like that could have ruined a person's career.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could have ultimately ruined a person's career because they might not have stayed headstrong enough to say, you know what, let me cut my losses here and move on and try to do something better.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, you had Irv, me and Irv were always mad tight, Irv Gotti. So he would bring Ja Rule out on the road with us from time to time. But he did it because he wanted Ja to see what the road life was really about prior to getting released as an artist. And, you know, to study and not get caught up in, you know, hanging out, even though they would be sitting around playing pool in the hotels before we go perform and stuff. But it was just to see what this life is going to look like, dude. Are you built for this? He even played me DMX stuff prior to DMX getting released. And one concern he had was that DMX was using drugs and stuff. But the dude was fierce. Like, I mean, the DMX on record, as opposed to the DMX I heard prior to making records, are like two different individuals. I mean, this dude was fierce on the lyrics. And then he kind of watered himself down a little bit, you know, and I say that lightly, when he started making records to appeal to the public. But Irv felt like that was going to be his biggest challenge, to keep dude focused and not get caught up, because everyone knows what that world can be. And when you get more successful, it just gets nastier. You know, I mean, drugs and everything is thrown at you by the dozen. Women are around you. You can get anything you want. You know what I'm saying? So being disciplined and being able to handle that, man, it takes a really tough person. So that's why you surround yourself with strong counsel. You know what I'm saying? People.
True indeed.
And, you know, Jay, we talk about a lot of things, not mentioning her names, but, you know, people that did dirt and, you know, dudes are ready to make those moves and stuff. But it's like, yo, is it worth it? Is it worth spending 10, 20 years in jail for this stupid individual, you know, giving my life away? No, it's not worth it. Because dude will be here to raise your sons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and, you know, that can impact things all the way down the line. But cats are smart enough to have these conversations and say, you know what? Let it go, man. Dude is going to live by that. That's going to come back and haunt him and move forward. I mean, we had a lot of conversations about things like that you just have to let go, you know, because it can eat you up. Serious business.
Yeah, word up. Yeah, word up. But Wiki, man, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, so we got to wrap soon. But yeah, I mean, get your last few questions out, and I just got to say, man, yo, this has been fucking outstanding. This has been amazing. We we're probably later down the line, we gotta do a part 2 with all of y'all again, and get Key back on. We get Lamb back, you know, get Lamb on. We got to get Ray Luger, as you know, as he was ducking the link, as you said, Jay. But we gotta do this again in the future.
Maybe we got it. Or something. I don't know why he didn't want to come on. Look.
But go ahead, Wiki, and yeah, man, we got to get this rolling. We got to get this growing again, man, because this has been phenomenal. And I'm sure that I know Wiki has got probably a Bible and a half worth of questions that we didn't get to yet. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do a part 2 eventually in the future.
Yeah.
And
if,
we
like I said, one before you even start. If anything y'all need as far as people to come, just let me know. I get y'all my numbers. I DM y'all my numbers. Same thing with Butcher, my cousin A1, my son. You know, if y'all need anybody to come that we could help get on your platform, there's no problem. I'm saying it's all love.
we would love that, and thank you, man, and thank you. Just thank you.
No doubt. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I was going to say, A1, you know, I've been listening to you for quite some time, and I already know about your history with phonics. And you got that new project, Nothing Less, out right now. You probably got like a decade worth of stuff with him. So we definitely got to get you back on there with him at some point as well.
Sure. I like that. That'd be dope.
Nah, that nigga got a decade with me.
He probably got more than a decade with you.
We got mad albums we got together, man. That's my cousin, man. Those joints ain't going nowhere. He be telling your cuz put them out. Like, nah, man, I ain't putting them. And I was actually listening to them a couple of days. I'm like, yo, this nigga A1 is nice.
Yo, you gotta put out that new record, man. You still holding it.
Yo, but Jay, just the last one to you, man. It's like to have grown up between the wealth, all of this knowledge, all of this resources. I mean, just all and like I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface in the show. What has that really been like for you growing through your life? After you take yourself off mute.
It's the one, man. It's the one. Man, it's been amazing to go through everything, up to this point. Like I said, just to gain the knowledge, and to see how I want to shape my career. A lot of people are just not fortunate enough to have people backing them to give them information like what should you do with your career. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you, whatever you want to decide to do. You know what I'm saying? But to have people that I trust, because I don't trust too many people. You know what I mean? Like that's just reality of it. I think people got their own hidden agendas, but to have people that I trust and I talk to on a regular, it was a dope, still is a dope experience. I'm still going to continue to get knowledge because there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I'm figuring the game out as I go. But it's been amazing, man. The ride has been everything that I've seen since I was 12, 13 years old. And this is what I dreamed of. Now the dream became reality. So yeah, absolutely.
That's dope.
Dopeness. Well, going around the horn, man. Everybody give y'all social medias and final shout outs to whoever y'all want to shout out. Thank you. Well, first off, too, thank you for everybody who's been in the comments on YouTube. This is our first night on YouTube. Had to work out all the particulars in the inner workings of everything, but we're finally rolling on YouTube, we're rolling on Twitter, we're rolling in the hip hop discussion group. Man, big ups to everybody in the comments tonight. But like I said, going around the table from Big J, to Dr. Butcher, to JR, and then to you, to A1. Final shout outs.
Okay.
Social medias, please.
My social media is IG is J Swift, the producer. I'm on also Clubhouse, J Swift producer. But my shout outs goes to, for one, my son. I'm very proud of you, son. You know what I'm saying? My cousin, A1, I'm proud of you too, cuz. My right hand man, Butcher, I'm proud of you. Shout out to my good brother, Ray Luger, my good sister, Keith Turner, you know what I'm saying? My man Static, my man Funk Star from Crummy Beach, my man Notch Raw, my big head homie Ant Lamb on there, my cousins that chimed in, Nisi, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, all my cousins, I love y'all. And you know what I'm saying? Keep supporting and be the only lookout for Keith Turner album and also Ray Luger album, which is called American Soil, real soon. And y'all should get him up in here to try to interview him too, because I'm dropping his album. Try to be in this month, you know what I'm saying? But we still working on Key Joint, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna pass the torch on to Butcher.
We could definitely make that happen, man, if we can make it. But definitely, and I'm gonna put it on the table, on air, on wax. If you can help us get Knots, man, because I definitely would like to talk to him about the whole Black Woman Project for sure. If you could definitely help us out with that.
I called him right now while I'm on the air with y'all and see what he say.
Do your thing. Go ahead, Dr. Butcher.
I don't even be playing with social media, dude. I stay away from it. But I thank all y'all cats, man. Jay Swift has been big, and just us staying in contact with each other and keeping us current with what's going on musically. JR, I mean, he's been sending me his music.
I'm on an interview right now with AJ.
Who did that? He's like, my son did that. And I'm like, he got that vibe, man. He's wanted, So hearing that in all rappers, Ray Luger, Keith Turner, I mean, he was gracious enough to get them on a project. I had fabulous.
Yo, hold on, Butcher. Yeah. I got Knots on the phone. Yeah, I got Knots on the phone right now. Tell him you
Peace, Knots. Knots was good.
Hey, now y'all ain't trying to do it right now, right?
No. Niggas gotta get back in the house. Our wives is mad at us right now. But if we could set you up in the future, man, like whenever you're available, man, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool, man. Jay will get you in touch with us through the Instagram and all that, and we'll talk from there. Thank you, brother.
Okay, there it is.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace. Yeah, so see, I don't play games. I'm sorry.
No, you good, man. I'm just thanking y'all,
my man,
for everybody for being there, man. And having me on the show. I really appreciate that.
and thank you, man, and thank you too, man, for just from a turntables perspective too, and actually have seen what you've done. You know, thank you.
Hey, tell Butcher to get Rob. Tell Butcher to get Rob and Joey them all them. He could get them.
I could text Rob. I could text Rob too. Like I said, I think I still have his number, and plus we if I can't reach him directly, then we got our homie DJ Marks and or I could talk to my friend Sarah. She'll text him. Yeah, we definitely gonna work on that.
Yeah,
funny y'all bring it up because I actually just spoke to him a few days ago, and he said whenever. So here you go.
But that's the man right there. Butcher's the man. He get anybody for y'all.
Yeah, so I would love to help you guys. Anything you need, just let me know.
Let's go with this. JR.
Man, you can follow me on IG, Twitter, Clubhouse. But Clubhouse is JR Swift _, GX4. IG and Twitter is JR Swift. Man, I just want to shout out. I need to go check out the Elzar Project, 7 times down, 8 times up, man. Shout out to my bro Elzar.
You got it.
I told you.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. Got stream it, buy the vinyl. Stream that Peter Rosenberg joint I did with Westside Gun Steam. Next week I got Sky Azul. So y'all tune in to all the beautiful things. Y'all just tap in with me, man. Shout out to everybody that showed mad love over the years when JR Swift wasn't JR Swift, man. Shout out to North Sherelle. Shout out to my cousin A1. Shout out to my pops, man. Everybody that believed in me when days I ain't believe in myself, man. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all a lot, man. Thank y'all.
For life, fool, as it said below. Hey,
my mic went on mute for a second, but yo, it was a pleasure to come on. I learned a lot, you know what I mean? I even learned things about Jay, like the connection to the separation to the executioners. It was a privilege to be here. Butcher, salute to you, man. Appreciate your contributions to the culture, all that you've done. It's like a history lesson, you know what I mean? And yeah, no doubt. And thank y'all for doing this. It's real dope. Y'all could check me out at A11988 everywhere. So Twitter, Instagram, all of that. And you could get music, don'tsleeprecords.com, don'tsleeprecords.bandcamp.com. And again, check out Underdogs on Netflix if y'all ain't seen it, or Red Bull TV. And appreciate y'all. And Wiki, just get with me, man. Hit me up. You know what I mean? My availability is open. So it's a good time. Stream nothing less. Stream nothing less on all your DSPs.
Yo, one more thing.
That's it.
Go check out Keith Turner, Shoot for the Stars, produced by my son JR Swift. Check out Yolanda, produced by me. And also check out The Black Woman, produced by my nigga, my good brother, excuse me, I don't like to use that word nigga, but my good brother Nas Raw production. You know what I'm saying? Go check them out. They're streaming on all platforms right now.
Dope, man.
Keith Turner Project. You know what I'm saying? And actually, shout out to Butcher for putting the whole thing, for her being on the Odd Couple, that was Butcher's doing right there. I just connected.
Nice.
She's on
Against all odds.
So again, that's what family does. He asked me like, "Yo, listen, man, could I get Key and Ray?" I'm like, "Nah, that's not a problem. We're gonna get it done." And that's how it happened. Yeah. But it was Butcher, and that's what we do. We family. We look out for each other. We gonna have Butcher on the project too. So, just be on the lookout for Key Turner and Ray Luger project. You know what I'm saying? Coming out and very soon. And y'all gonna see more of me. You're gonna see more of my son. You're gonna see more of my cousin and more Butcher. You know what I'm saying? We got other things in the works. We also putting a little beat family together, which is gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Me and A probably get together because everybody dying for us to do another project. So me and my cousin probably gonna be doing another project together. You know what I'm saying? So everybody always like, man, my man Ant said the same thing. Yo, Jay and A1 is their chemistry, which is true. You know what I'm saying? Me and my cousin, that's blood. So y'all probably will see something like that. I know me and my son working on the project, quiet as kept. You know what I'm saying? So you probably see Tiff on there, A on there. You know, get some production from Butcher and other producers. That's family. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to them, Static, Funk, Butcher, my man Ray, Knots. Who else I'm missing? So many good brothers, man. But I love all y'all, like my son said, and you'll do it again. Let me know when y'all ready.
Definitely, Wiki, man. This is you missed the first. It felt like you missed like the first 40 minutes, but man, a history lesson. This is one of our best like period shots to nobody in the past, but this is one of our best, man. We got a part 2 out of this. That's on the way. We need to work out, man. But shit. This is dope.
Can I say one more thing before we get off the air? Y'all know Key Turner birthday was the 2nd, right?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Miss Turner.
Happy birthday, Key.
She ain't tell you about these though, right?
Nope.
She gonna kill me. Nah, that's a little inside joke, you know what I'm saying? I had big Key Turner, but that's my sister.
She got that.
She gonna
not
kill
the
me.
air. Not the Air Orthopedics.
Yeah.
Come on, Key. Come on. Yeah. You see her face? You see the faces? you hit it. You hit it with the air mall walkers. That's fucked up.
Nah, that's my sister, man. I did that on her birthday, man. It was a lot of that's the type of feeling you do, man. They joke me, I gotta joke them back. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
That's all.
I feel you.
She said, "Look,
oh man, but Wiki, man, you know what to do, man. This has been dope. This has been fun, man.
Definitely dope, man. Yes, we appreciate everyone for coming through, and once again, it's great to see family. People stay connected. Show their experiences and pass that on so that the next generation can continue to show that this music is always going to be it.
For everybody who's not watching, everybody listening on the podcast, Key hit him back and said, "I'm gonna show you dry rot Tim's. Stop playing."
That's foul. That's real stuff, though. I just think it's
That's hilarious.
Yo, the second pair that happened to me, though, I ain't gonna. She ain't lying. They is. Yo, they got me. And I was outside rocking them joints, and them shit just fell apart on me. You know? Yeah, see, but that's
man. You repping Brooklyn the wrong way with that one.
Man, that's not good.
You couldn't go to Brooklyn with that. You know.
I had my swag on next thing, you know, I see the free and shit. I'm like, what the hell? They still look brand new. Still in the box downstairs. They look brand new. They did me dirty. I'm gonna get you back, Key. I forgot about I sent her those pictures. I wasn't supposed to send her those pictures. Man.
Oh shit!
Hey, y'all do your thing, man.
Oh shit! Anyway, please make sure y'all are following us at HHDG Media Inc. on Instagram, HHDG Media Inc. on Twitter. You can follow me, which is a part of HHDG Media, because I'm one of the owners of HHDG Media, at the thing you see on the screen right there, the Starting 5 _ podcast. Please come support that. Hit up hhdgmedia.com where you see the phenomenal writings by the homie Wiki Ian. I got a couple little pieces up there too, little something. Cop some merch. That's it. I ain't really got nothing else to add on to that, man. I thank y'all brothers again. I keep for part 2.
Yeah, no
Man,
doubt.
this has been amazing. This has been amazing. So for the brothers that ain't here, Skelly Tops, T Smith, and the homie Rock Vader KB, for Wiki and everybody else here, this your boy the Mayor. Peace, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.